you're not showing modesty in government. Foreign travel alone is 60, how many million Ghana cedis? You know, chartering jets in foreign countries, you know, just when we have a presidential jet here, you want a bigger one. And so you go take $17,000 an hour planes to travel. You know, we won't do those things. We will sacrifice the Ghanaians as we try to get the economy back on track.
Demonstration yesterday and all the widespread agitations. The president at 1 p.m. yesterday, whilst the demonstration was going on, took off on the ultra-luxurious LXDIO, which cost the Ghanaian taxpayer $14,000 an hour. This 6-nation tour, we have done the conservative estimates. At the end of the tour, when the president returns,
NDC banana nipa wodi animu no kofi fasa private jet bia na wo wa ban ma you resign.
I'll resign because what
may resign.
What may resign? Why shall I stay there? May resign because the mayor is on principle and yet personal and yet say it may time President Akufo Addo and as I mean President Akufo. It's the principle. It's about protecting the public purse.
Hey, Sabra na education minister na oda olem kwise mo abe resign.
Oh, may resign. I mean, my head man resigning in free appointments committee of parliament.
And the appointment committee no say yan you allowance mo kwa na mo jeje and bibi wo ba bia minimum.
Appointments committee which is
This presidential jet arrived in 2010. The records in parliament. Please check the parliamentary Hansard. We were told that the presidential jet has a lifespan of a minimum 20 years. So 2010, when the aircraft arrived, plus 20 years, that gives you 200, it gives you from now to 2030, from 2010 to 2030. That's minimum 20 years. Now we all know that with these aircrafts, if your maintenance regime is good, if you take good care of the aircraft, that minimum 20 years, you can even double it. Our Ghana Air Force, the communication squadron, which is in charge of presidential jets, is celebrated the world over for their high maintenance culture. We all know that. If you take in Ghana's history, this is our 4th presidential jet. The Fokker 28, which a champion purchased for us in the 1970s. Our Air Force has been able to take very good care of Fokker 28 for well over 35 years. So even this minimum period of 20 years, you can see that is very generous. It can go beyond that. Now, I am even more fortified in the position. I told you that this is a transoceanic and a transcontinental.
When he used it for watching
I was there for the UN General Assembly.
The engines failed.
So machines at the President Mahama 2015. President Mahama actually had 2 incidents, 2015 and 2014. That's why it has 3 engines. When one engine fails, nothing fatal.
The president has to make an emergency landing.
After 30 minutes it was not something to be scary about. Look, it is not. Look, President Mahama had the same incident twice. It didn't stop President Mahama from using the Falcon.
Like flying.
Look.
It is a my head in some form power. Yenis guy beto we mchen your friend say
we mchen na ho no you make me use from this time up to 2030 said by Onunyanfo Okujeto Ablakwa, current minister for foreign affairs. And
a president echo train ya 22
hours. Yes.
God.
Sir, we see do amubo kwakuo afa na wutini suo. Don't a mabuni be abdo mo agya manwese mu no a post any popularity in a video mukwaji. I'm telling you. Me honorable Samuel Okujeto Ablakwa marriage.
Your friend is saying ma omu ni na no asemachi. Now the right thing no must be done. The right thing.
I say man no asem no man
because
resign.
Presidential
the right thing.
Presidential jets no ye to enye President Mahama nko a na betinemu President bia obebebia e betinemu bi
ena Ghana mampani no oya Ghana
semene saade no
Ghana mampani no oya Ghana
enya ni wunya rehu kwan say o president who president
yes
no oti baby ankofo te
nanu asemitia bia ma esi enya kukudo ni ma o ma ho do se bia meka ne edi akoma mu ni etimu dem down okuja to Ablakwa utin to anye ye mampani ba no wo hye wanu nyam ena do kwahye Minister of Foreign Affairs
edi wa wo
se o ma mampani komu ye a
oh dem
we kamene wa se na wunya kukuduo kwatra do ma fem se me se na Nana Akufo Addo predict kwan no se na ai mampani ma ba no omame asoe bi koda no mpo no halu pa me resign ko kama pani tu de to a was my resign ni amenya gide wo yampanifo mu se mu yo si ade yo na da no mampani odi zabu alupre o my Ghana ye dizabu ze benya wiomhyan e de me mampani na manedwumadie aye ahohare so na mane bambo na pomu day 22 hours o mampani ko
I got 2 hours not one day
na me small boy kwa me go Dubai kwa me na me ko Iran me ko transit to Dubai me do how many hours oh me small boy danger kill abobo
65 years
hallelujah eti ya ba sra mampani si apane chow manfo kuja to Ablakwa asem ne nya asem Ghana for me enta mampani achi yen to wiem sem ma ye mampani no onfe ni dwuma no mani tumpon ma yen ade ahia no kuja to Ablakwa de ene no bone a che no yan se dia no Kenya no Nana Akufo kwa no ni nyina so biada wo se lupe betu issue from this time up to 2030 yama mampani go for lupe we on ego rena no wiem na se dia si kwa ya kan wasema wi ya sama mampani amfo mo to fufro to fufro na lodina wo fie to fufro ya ta wachi Ghana kan unwia wo de twasi wa maye na mampani akodi 22 hours e wo Dubai
in fact I know they
no I don't see that come me o ma mampani enkonkwatena airport wo enka ne nan to say wo twa ne next flight ye babuku hotel e di amano wa home one me mpanifu ekoi ya mena duane no
extra cost
mo so de aye ho o ma mu ha amanyo sam
in fact amanyo sam ya hwe ne yi a wo ho e bebubu yen
Mami uri fi se Nana Akufo Addo president o to ni to no kuje to de na to dwa enu o fo dwa wen enu o dwa o wiem enu o hwan wo to ni no ma o wiem enya dwale nu o dwale wo to no ma o wiem ye tan ye ho keke
ena wo na mkra na nsu oto a ya careful
bia na sebe Nana Akufo
edware
how ye no ni say na me
ena wo hu
ni panyina na betima di mampani Ghana ha mampani mama due kafra wate. But forget it. Come and buy a lupre for the good people of Ghana.
No. Because it's not for you and your personal property. It's for the state.
I disagree with the fact that the president should use his brother's jet. I disagree in principle.
Why?
Because it's unethical.
Unethical?
Yeah, it is unethical.
Well, but I was just saying that for the circumstance of traveling to Japan, he could have used his brother's jet and government pays him for it.
It's unethical. The fact that the president uses the brother's jet is concession of the fact that the president cannot travel commercial at all times.
At all times.
And therefore, there's need for a befitting presidential jet, which the state must take steps to acquire. So that principle is what the NDC must be bold to, apologize to Ghanaians and take. President Trump has a luxury private jet.
Of his own. He used it for the campaign, yeah.
But he uses Air Force One. Why when he was going to Alaska, why didn't we see the Trump or the buoyant
Trump plane?
Yes, the Trump.
This is the one he used for
luxurious.
The campaign.
Why didn't we see
it? It looks like a very big plane.
Very huge, ultra luxury. Why didn't he use it? Because state security protocols will not permit that. So under what circumstances?
Well, but also the Air Force One is more powerful.
So if you
have
it's for a purpose, because it's a military. Whenever the president is flying, the platforms that he's on must be the Air Force platform, where possible. It
Something controlled by the Air Force.
Absolutely. So this presidential jet is just semantics. It's words we have all come to terms. We have all come to.
Oh, it's actually an Air Force plane.
It is
a military plane.
A military plane. An aircraft belonging to the assets, the fleet of the military, and one or two assigned for such executive travels. And so that is they've got it wrong. What if tomorrow, Esiedun Ketia or Ato Folson or Dr. Baumia or Julius Debra or Paul Adomotre becomes president and he doesn't have a brother who has a private jet? And we have demonized the principle of the state acquiring befitting presidential platform for travels, and how the president will be compelled to travel commercial at all times, and how feasible is that? And we want to now set a trend that if your brother doesn't own a private jet, you cannot become president in this country. That's a very dangerous one. It's unethical. Conflict of interest matters and all that. So all those people claiming Standogbe, claiming Jatta has saved Ghana, and it's unethical. And it's not a conversation we must be having. It is a concession that you need a private jet because you can't fly commercial all the time. Jatta is private. Fancy a situation where President Akufo Addo was flying Bumpty's private jet or Gabi Ochedakon's, private jet. Imagine Okuje to Ablakwa and the NDC, the kind of, up in arms, the kind of campaign they would have, diabolic campaign they would have waged against that. But they want us to clap. And so it is on humanitarian grounds. Is Ghana that poor? Is Ghana that, that broke? That we cannot afford to prioritize the safety of our president and our vice president and our high-profile VVIPs just because somebody did reckless politics with it in the past? We shouldn't be bold to confront the principle and the reality and set a dangerous precedent down. That must cease and it must stop. When the president was going to Japan, I heard some people doing politics. I said, no, stop, don't do politics. I will not do politics with President Mahama's safety and his travel. And that is why I will support any move that will ensure that if there's any executive helicopter, now that the Z9 is gone, that we can have, even if it's two, because not only the president, other VVIPs of government, the Speaker of Parliament, ministers, the generals, top chiefs, top personalities of the country can all have access to that. You may never know what exigency may require some VVIP on either side to be able to go on that platform. That is a conversation, honest conversation, apolitical. And the fact that the NDC is finding it difficult to come to table to initiate that discussion is an indication that they are still in their guilt. Their guilt of their past reckless, petty politics on these things. Are we waiting for an unfortunate second disaster to occur before we all put politics aside and do what is right for the state and what is right for the Ghana Armed Forces? And so we on our side, we will do that responsible, supportive opposition or minority posture, which takes matters and looks at them with a national lens. But they should come out of their guilt and apologize to Akufo-Addo, apologize to Ghanaians. Then we will have that conversation.
President, we are sorry. We are really sorry. President of Ghana, John Mahama, was traveling from Accra to Japan. 20,238 kilometers. Japan is 9 hours ahead of Ghana. So what's the time right now? So it's 9:36 in Accra. The time in Japan is 9 hours ahead. So it's 9 o'clock. So you go from 9, 10, 11, 12. So 9, 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, 3. It's 6:30 a.m. in Japan. The president traveled 20,000 kilometers. He traveled, as the story says, on Emirates, which is okay, which is understandable, which we appreciate. He traveled on Emirates airline. He traveled in first class, quite comfortable, and then he got to Dubai. We understand that in Dubai, from Kofi Tonto and others on social media, that the president left Ghana on Sunday evening but arrived in Japan just today. He waited 22 hours in Dubai, had to use a train for about 2 hours to Tokyo, from Tokyo to Yokohama. As Empire FM said it, the president had to suffer because of petty politics. Yes, petty politics. Petty politics. Politics that is animated by hatred. That's why I'm sad today. Because of somebody's ambition for power, He denigrates a president so much so that another person becomes president and he's afraid to make a decision in the interest of the president's safety, in the interest of the president's comfort so that he can think, in the interest of the president's security so that he's confident to present his case. President of Ghana is sitting at a location in Dubai, 22 hours. What kind of security is provided for him over there? He's not in the comfort of his Jubilee house, where all the security is available. The Ghana Armed Forces are available. The Ghana Police Service is available. National security is available. But here, he's in a location outside his country, and he's not in his own plane. He's sitting in a location 22 hours. Why? Because of terrible politics. Bad politics. Never again. We should never encourage that again. People encouraged it. Hey, AkufoAddo is bad. Akufo is bathing in the air. He can't bath in the air. When Dominic Nitiwu stood before Parliament and said that the presidential jet is not fit for purpose and that the president cannot even freshen up in it. Hey, come and see cartoon. The cartoon, they had the Daily Guide guy. What's his name? I can't remember his name. There's a TV3 guy. Both of them are very good. Tilapia put cartoon. Then they have AkufoAddo with some boxer shorts and he's holding a pail. He's pouring water on himself and he's sitting in some aircraft. And one by one, the votes of the party was winning away. Ghanaians were getting upset because they trust politicians. And this politician here wanted to make a meal out of something that was about national security. So President AkufoAddo travels, he comes. Oh, AkufoAddo thinks we don't know. He traveled and he came back in a private jet. He arrived at 1 a.m. I saw him. He thinks that he's hiding. People caution that this is very dangerous. Publishing the president's itinerary is very dangerous. Nobody listened. Of course, the prices were high. So if prices are high, we all don't listen. I'm guilty, and that's why I'm rendering an apology to the president. I'm guilty. I had occasion to go and complain. Why is the president flying this, Other people complained. I remember in one of my complaints, one of them, I won't mention his name, he said, oh, clear off. Why are you following the NDC propaganda? And I said, this NDC propaganda is going to cost us the election. I'm guilty. I feel very guilty. Because I love President Mahama. He's a nice guy. People love him. Why should he? If President Mahama is not president of Ghana, I can assure you, he's not going to sit in any airport for 22 hours. Why would he do that? Why is he going to do that? The only reason why President Mahama had to be cocooned in an airport for 22 hours is because he's president of Ghana. If President Mahama is not president of Ghana, having been president before, there are many things he can do. He can call on his friend. He can call on another head of state. He can do so many things. And since AkufoAddo traveled to Nigeria recently, I don't think that he used any commercial plane. He's former president. He can call on his friend, please pick me up. President Mahama would have. But today, President Mahama is frightened. How is he going to call for a private? Hey! This is a president whose brother has a private jet. Think about it. Think about it. This is a president whose brother has a private jet. And the government of Ghana could have paid for the private jet of the president's brother. The president's brother is not the only Ghanaian who has a private jet, mind you. There are Ghanaians who have private jets better than Ibrahim's plane. I know that. Ibrahim knows that. Everybody knows that. We know them. They don't want their names to be mentioned. So we will not mention their names. They have two. This individual I'm talking about has two private jets. Oh, at least you know Magdan. Magdan, you know. I'm not talking about Magdan, but Magdan we all know. Magdan has said he has a private jet, so we can repeat it. Magdan has a private jet. Government of Ghana could have paid for it. But President Mahama is afraid to do that. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that, but he is afraid. Why? Because of bad politics. Terrible politics. The people who are renting houses at Airport Hills, their politics is what has brought us here. Terrible politics. And then today is foreign minister. How is he going to manage it? Foreign minister. You should be making the calls and say that we are arriving at Dubai on Emirates in the morning. Can we get a plane to take us to Japan? Because the president has to address a meeting there. He's marketing Ghana. So how much would it cost? Of course, we all agree that we can't go for an exorbitant cost. Private jets have different series. We just need a plane to carry the president from Dubai to Japan in basic comfort. We don't want him to have a plane that has a jacuzzi, a plane that has champagnes popping from everywhere, a plane that has this and that. No. We just want a plane that takes about 12 people, President of Ghana, John Mahama, Foreign Minister Samuel Okudzeto Ablakwa, Presidential Aide Joyce Bauer, Minister of Trade Hannah J. If the Minister of Finance Atufo is there, he's on it. Attorney General Dominic Ayini. Yeah, 12 key people. Secretary to the President, Dr. Kalistus Mahama. 12 people to just carry the president from Dubai. So when the president gets off the plane in Dubai, security is arranged. They hang around with him and say, Mr. President, where's your bag? Pick it, quick. Oh, the plane is ready. When you get to Japan, you can have breakfast. It's fine. We'll just fly. It's about, 5 hours. We'll be there. He gets into the plane. He can have access to his phone, check what's happening in Ghana, call back his spokesperson if he's not with him, call back his chief of staff and say, Chief, we have arrived in Dubai. We are heading for Japan. Everything okay? Everything is fine. After the funeral, good. Everything good. He say, chief of staff may regale him a little bit with some jokes and say, Mr. President, the people are complaining about your smoke at Christ the King, blah, 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 but that's funny. They all laugh and then they move on. Quickly, they get to Japan. He's ready for the event. It's the foreign minister's job. But here is a foreign minister who, because of bad politics, will now saddle our president to sit in one place and wait for 22 hours. Why? Why do we do these things to ourselves? Just because of political power. The NDC would have still won the election without all that tirade about AkufoAddo's private jet. The NDC would have still won the election. And AkufoAddo's record shows that he was flying the same Emirates President Mahama flew to Dubai. But then when he has to connect from Dubai to some place, he gets to Belgium and he has to connect and he has to wait. You have seen all the Eugene Ahin statements. AkufoAddo had to wait 17 hours somewhere. Within that 17 hours, he'll be back in Ghana. He was coming to Ghana at 3 a.m. so that he's in Ghana for the next day's cabinet. We say no. No. Now President Mahama left. The battle started on Sunday. Hey, there was a private jet in Ghana. What was the private jet doing? Now, those who were complaining about the private jet were not complaining because they think the president doesn't deserve it. They were complaining because they thought they had observed the double standards of a foreign minister in opposition and in government. The double standards is what they believe they had observed. Nobody is going to quaver about the president of Ghana flying a minimal, basic private jet so that his schedule, if the president is going to London, and they say, but you are going to London, British Airways goes. Why do you take private jet? That's understandable. I don't think President Mahama will take a private jet from Accra to London. No, he'll go with British Airways that goes every day. But when he gets to London, and he has to go to Argentina from London, or he has to go to Sao Tome and Principe before he comes to Ghana, what else is he going to do? Even the Black Stars, we take private jet for them sometimes in the history. Because the situation is terrible. Why must he be waiting in one place? It's such a security risk. It compromises the security of the president of Ghana for people to know that he is in a location outside his home base for 22 hours. I'm sad. I'm truly sad. This kind of politics. What can we say? Well, Mr. President, we are sorry. We are really sorry. You have to blame your foreign minister. We are truly sorry about this. And this got on its way onto the campaigns. People were talking. AkufoAddo, AkufoAddo. Here we are today. Vindication is always in the womb of time. Vindication is in the womb of time. For young people, let's not practice this kind of politics. It's terrible. And it will always come back to bite you. After 4 years, when he's no longer foreign minister, what are people going to say to him? What is he going to say about anything? What has he been able to say about anything? And that I will resign. If the president takes the power, I will resign. If the vice president takes, I will resign. Look at the situation that happened to the vice president. So unfortunate. We should have let the vice president returning from London sit on British Airways, an elderly woman who is unwell. How can we do that? How can we accept that as a nation? So they chartered the plane for the vice president, and rightly so. But look at him. Look at him eating back his words. Is that what politics is about? Politics, is it about this? Is politics about this? I'm so sad. I'm so devastatingly sad. John Mahama, we are sorry. We are so sorry. Your foreign minister